offline.
I get it, you guys want to see some more obscure cards. I'm happy to oblige. Call me fucking Mary J. How much I'm gonna oblige. So you know how this goes. I got some obscure powerhouse cards for you this week to show you. I know I probably say this every week. These cards are actually really good for how little decks they're in. I feel like the Magic, Scryfall, Random Button gods were smiling on me last night because we found some bangers. If you like the bangers we talk about, maybe drop a like, comment, subscribe, throw me a buck over on Patreon, and let's get in. Starting things off with Lady of Laughter. Nickname I gave my girlfriend in the bedroom. Lady of Laughter is ran in 2,000 decks, and it cost 20 cents. She's 3 and 2 white for a 4/5 Fairy Noble. Yeah, this thing is not an angel, somehow. Anyway, 4/5 with flying. At the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more non-land permanents entered the battlefield under your control this turn, draw a card. So obviously good in token decks like Alayla, Artful Provocateur, or Jetmir, as you're gonna have plenty of non-land permanents enter the battlefield, so this thing will just be drawing you cards. If you have cards like Cloud Shift, blinking creatures consistently on your side of the board, or stuff like Conjurer's Closet, that'll be another good way to get Lady of Laughter to trigger. So token deck, blink decks, this seems great. This is essentially just a Takesia's Welcome style card stapled onto a 4/5 flyer. Kinda sick, honestly. And as I said, she's a fairy. That actually will come into play with a few cards. Moving on to nicknames my girlfriend gives me in the bedroom. Poisonbelly Ogre. Poisonbelly Ogre is ran in 299 decks, and it costs 13 cents. This 4 and a black 3/3 Ogre Warrior has, whenever another creature comes into play, its controller loses one. Group Slug in it for days. Put this in your Xantia deck, maybe like Rendmaw, if you're going like the slug angle with that. And if you're a fan of cards like the Trojan Horse cards or like the Hunted cycle of cards that gives your opponent's creatures, this seems extra good just to trigger it. Keep in mind this does affect you, so if you plan on running this, I'd be extra cautious in the deck building process to run Group Slug options that are non-creature like Underworld Dreams or Painful Quandary to avoid punishing yourself too much. Moving on to a card I'm not 100% on, but I've seen it a few times now while I've hunted through Scryfall, so I figured, yeah, I'll talk about it. You know what I mean? It might be a sign. Hew the Entwood is ran in 5.1k decks, and it costs 44 cents. This 3 and 2 red sorcery has you sacrifice any number of lands and then reveal X cards from the top of your library, where X is the number of lands. Choose any number of artifacts and or lands revealed this way, put all non-land cards chosen this way onto the battlefield, then put all land cards chosen this way onto the battlefield tapped, put the rest on the bottom. Again, not 100% sure. It doesn't seem terrible in like a lands matter deck because those decks get lands from graveyard with like Crucible of World effects. So the lands you sacked aren't gonna stay in grave for long, I'd imagine. Especially if your commander's something like Marog. Go ahead and get a billion extra combats. That seems pretty good. Again, not 100% sure what that means, but it is a mythic rare for a reason. I would think there has to be some deck where this is extraordinarily powerful in it. As I said, Marog providing a ton of extra combats, and then Hazon, you can just grab a bunch of deserts off top and then make a bunch of tokens when they ETB, and then Crucible deserts back into play. I don't know. Moving on to a super solid uncommon, Horrid Shadowspinner. Horrid Shadowspinner is ran in 6.9k decks, and it cost 11 cents. This one, a blue and a black 2/3 horror, has lifelink, and whenever it attacks, you may draw cards equal to its power and discard that many cards. I feel like it really shines if you're in like a wheel deck. So if you're in like Captain Ngothrod, where you're like maybe running a mill sub theme, I still think putting stuff in the graveyard with this in that deck is still going to be good, and the fact it's a horror gonna be good. But weirdly enough, I feel like the best deck this could go in is Rafine. Like if you're going a Rafine wheels list and you're like going wide, you're swinging your Conniving X, and then you put all that connive onto Horrid Shadowspinner. Now you got a big lifelink that is drawing you a ton of cards, discarding a ton of cards, so you can interact with like Psychosis Crawler effects to deal damage to opponents. You could do some nasty stuff with discard interactions like Archfiend of Ifnir, just start dishing out tons of neg 1/1s to the entire opponent's boards. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like you could do some gross stuff with this card. Run it more. I'm gonna pick some up because I really like this a lot. I don't know what else I can say to it. I keep complimenting it. I know I could do that. Let's move on to one of the scariest things to talk about in modern day Commander. A 3-drop mana rock. Ancient Cornucopia is pretty good though. Being ran in 11.3k decks, running the steep price of $1.31, this 2 and a green artifact has, whenever you cast a spell that's 1 or more colors, you may gain 1 life for each of the colors. Do this once each turn, tap it, add 1 mana of any color. Put this in your Dina Soulsteeper deck. You can still drop Dina turn 2, drop this turn 3, start spamming out some of your life gain stuff, gaining a bunch of life just for mana ramping. That seems pretty good. Like Bilbo Birthday Celebrant, that seems good in that deck too, just gaining life for casting stuff, sure. I actually really like this with the brand new Evoke Elementals that came out in Lorwyn Eclipse, like Vibrance. It seems pretty good with this, actually. Add a mana, use it to cast a Vibrance and evoke it. Gain 2 life when the Vibrance hits. Do whichever side of it you need to do. Also, keep in mind, the thing you cast does not have to be a creature. I know that every green mana rock, your brain just kind of like, or at least mine does, like auto assigns it to be like, use this mana to cast a creature. Any spells you cast, this works for, and you still gain the life even if they're not creatures. Actually pretty good if you're in the life gain build. Moving on to Stalactite Stalker. Now, because there's Stalactite and Secure, and the Stalagmites you Stalagmite Step on. Stalactite Stalker is ran in 7.5k decks, and it costs 16 cents. This 1 black, 1/1 Goblin Rogue has Menace. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, which means put a permanent into your graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on Stalactite Stalker. Pay 2 and a black, sacrifice Stalactite Stalker. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is Stalactite Stalker's power. Love this in some weenie reanimator, like Alesha who smiles at death. Yeah, keep sacking this thing, keep making it big, get bigger and bigger, fill your graveyard, return small stuff, keep sacking it to remove stuff, keep getting it back, keep hitting face. This seems like a pretty good rinse and repeat card to throw in that list. Also, keep in mind, -X/-X effects get around indestructible, and this little dude will just get huge over time. What's better than a 1/1 getting huge over time? A 1/1 that gets huge over time that it can also double as removal and has menace. You know what I mean? I think this little dude's pretty stat checked. Honestly, just a cool like option for a graveyard deck. I'm not gonna personally run it. I don't think it synergizes enough with like just any graveyard deck, but I think if you're in like the weenie or like small CMC style graveyard deck, it's pretty good. Trap the Trespassers is ran in 14.5k decks, and it costs 13 cents. It's 2 and a blue for an instant. Each player secretly votes for a creature that you don't control. Then those votes are revealed. For each creature with 1 or more votes, put that many stun counters on it, then tap it. We're voting, so this is going to be good in Tivit because we just get really good bonuses whenever we vote in that deck, and you get an additional vote. Yeah, that's going to be great. Or Serdan, kind of same angle, it's a voting deck. But also because of the stun counters and tapping stuff, obviously Hilda, the Ice Crown, it's going to be pretty good in there. Keep in mind, this does have to target something that's not on your side, so you're going to end up with some kind of pretty good outcome. You're either going to get 3 bombs tapped down for 1 turn, 1 bomb tapped down for 2 turns, 1 tapped down for 1, or 1 bomb tapped down for 3 full turns. And trust me, when there's a big enough dino on the other side of the board, it might just get tapped down for 3 turns, and there's probably going to be someone at the table that has some kind of proliferation going on. Keep those stun counters coming. Again, how great is this card? I don't think it's like the best piece of removal. I do think it is like an interesting piece of political removal that you could add to your deck. So if you've been looking to play a little bit more politics, I think this isn't bad. It's pretty good. Moving on to Thought Erasure. Thought Erasure is ran in 2.9k decks, and it costs 10 cents. This blue and a black sorcery has target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Surveil 1. Yeah, Reanimator deck, right? I'm gonna pick one of these up for Taval immediately. Seeing that like most of my reanimation, like Animate Dead, Dance of the Dead, Reanimate, can still hit opponents' graveyards. Yeah, being like, hey you, deck that's been playing a bunch of scary creatures, let me see your hand. Oh, there's another scary creature in there. Throw it in the bin. I'm gonna reanimate it. I'm also gonna Surveil. Ooh, another scary creature to throw in my bin. This seems great. I actually really like this. I could see someone reading it and being like, oh, it's for a discard deck, or oh, it's for a control deck, but I feel like if you're in Reanimator, and a lot of your reanimation hits opponent stuff, kinda great in there. Also, keep in mind, you can just use it for other stuff as well in the Reanimator deck. Like if someone's got a board wipe that you really don't want to see in their hand, you'd be like, oh, I'd like to put that creature in there, but also no board wipe for you. I feel like this is super versatile. You're always going to get a pretty decent hit with it, and you also get a Surveil, so it doesn't feel like you missed out on much. It's also a 2-drop. But if you're looking for some more metal-sounding card names, how about Oracle of Bones? Oracle of Bones is ran in 2.5k decks, and it costs 25 cents. This 2 and 2 red 3/1 Minotaur Shaman has haste, tribute 2, so when it enters the battlefield, you can have target opponent put 2 1/1 counters on it. And when it enters the battlefield, if an opponent did not choose to pay the tribute, you could cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand for free. Now, I get it. I hear what you're going to say. They're always just going to do the 2 1/1 counters thing. I don't agree. You know what I mean? I've had that same line of thinking with a lot of cards, but some of you guys in the comments have kind of opened me up to thinking about these type of cards differently. This is just a political tool. At its worst, it's a 4-drop 5/3. Sure, not the best card. At its best, you run this in a blink deck, and it pretty much gets you out of like a ton of sticky situations. You go ahead and you go, oh, that person's literally about to swing out and end the game with the Crater Hoof. Hey, other opponent, if I blink my Oracle of Bones, will you not pay the tribute so I can play this sorcery out of my hand because it ignores timing restrictions? That just so happens to be a board wipe and will completely shut down his Craterhut Behemoth. Oh, you will? Okay, Cloud Shift my Oracle of Bones. Oh, you don't pay the tribute? And then just swap out any card for any other cards that stop decks from popping off. It actually seems incredibly good. Especially if you're running like a lot of political cards like Secret Rendezvous and stuff like that, because you could be like, hey, I just played a board blink card and my Oracle of Bones also got blinked with it. Do you care if I play an extra card? Do you care if I play a free instant or sorcery if that free instant or sorcery also draws you 2 cards? Oh, you don't? Cool. Tribute's not gonna get paid. We both draw 2. I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff you could do here politically and just make deals with people, wheel and deal. And in a blink deck, you just kind of passively be able to just have a cool, like, I don't know, like a cool, like auctioneer kind of like, hey, but if you don't pay the tribute, I could do this for you. I feel like it introduces a whole new aspect to a game with just 1 card. I don't know. I feel like that's valuable enough to talk about. Moving on though, we got Bramble Elemental. Being ran in 369 decks, which kind of shocked me, and costing only 6 cents. This 3 and 2 green 4/4 Elemental has whenever an aura becomes attached to Bramble Elemental, create 2 1/1 green sapperling creatures. If your deck's just gonna be slinging auras onto stuff, like if you're in like an Ivy Gleeful Spell Thief deck, why not just get a shit ton of 1/1 tokens just passively? Not only that though, the first commander that popped into my head, Chishiro. Because good grief, that's insane. Chishiro just gives you a ton of 2/2s whenever you cast equipments or auras, and then this will just be also spamming out tons of 1/1s that you can just, yeah, you're gonna have a huge board all equipped with tons of auras. You're making tons of 1/1 sapperlings, you're making tons of 2/2 snake spirits. Very alligator snake 2 spirit. It's also worth mentioning that like auras the opponents play don't work on it. I don't know if that like really matters, but have fun trying to pacify this dude. Cool ass card, actually. I really like this one. It costs 5, sure, but if you're in casual commander and you're just running an aura deck like that, this seems pretty good, actually. Moving on to my favorite card of today's list, All Fates Stalker, being ran in 5.7k decks and costing 8 cents. This 3 and a white 2/3 Drix Assassin has, when this creature enters, exile up to 1 target non-assassin creature until this creature leaves the battlefield. And it's also got warp for 1 and a white, meaning you can cast this card for its warp cost, exile this creature at the beginning of the next end step, then you may cast it from exile on a later turn. I love this. This is such a cool design space, like genuinely well done. Whoever designed this card, good job. Like actually really good job. This is super cool in a blink deck because it's literally just another Cloud Shift. Sure, it's sorcery speed, but whatever. It's another blink spell you can play that just doubles as removal, because what you do is you play it the first time for its warp, and then you just target, we'll just say Sun Titan for the sake of this example. We target our Sun Titan, okay? Our Sun Titan goes away. But since it's a warp effect, at the end of turn, our All Fates Stalker also goes into exile. And since our All Fates Stalker left the field, our Sun Titan comes back, triggers the ETB, and now we can cast the All Fates Stalker out of exile and exile an opponent's thing when it enters the second time. It's literally just a blink spell that is also removal. It is such a cool design space. Like, this really opened my eyes to like how cool warp is. And then finally, our last card of the video, Entreat the Dead, being ran in 5k decks with a cost of 83 cents. This 2x 3 black sorcery returns X target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, which is a super steep cost, but it's also got Miracle for X and 2 black. So if you hit this thing off the top, all your mana's going into it. All your fucking mana. And I'm thinking about it in my Taval deck, obviously, for the just Magic Christmas land of being like, oh, I have a Colossal Grave Reaver in my graveyard. Oh my gosh, along with a Valgavoth. Oh, I miracled this. You know what I mean? Sure, that's great. But even in that list, in my Taval deck, Taval just makes a ton of zombies. I also run Ashnod's Altar in that deck to get a bunch of mana. Hard casting this for 7 to get 2 creatures back, not unrealistic, or even that bad. That just evens out to like 1 Zombify and then 1 3-drop reanimation spell stapled together, which isn't terrible. Definitely doable with an Ashnod's Altar and some tokens. But that's not really the draw here. The draw is like, I have 1 card in this deck that if it hits at the right time. Anyway, let me know what decks you would put these obscure cards into. I hope this little skateboard video in the background wasn't playing anything too raunchy. I didn't even think about it till right now. Just a quick warning here. I've heard a lot of YouTubers say this before and I've always thought they were lying. Some of you guys actually aren't seeing my videos on your homepage, and a quick hit of that bell notification has fixed that problem for some people. I've had 3 people reach out saying like, hey, I've missed your last like 2-3 months of content because I just have not not seen it or gotten it recommended on my homepage, but it actually apparently is a real thing. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, be nice to each other, and be nice to me by throwing me a buck over on patreon.com/NixLotus if you feel like it, or here on YouTube on the YouTube members page. Huge shout out to all the members you can see on screen right now. Wouldn't be possible without any of you, and I will see you guys on Sunday. Peace.